Where does dad stand out in public? Let's start with mom. No, we're going to end with mom because she's going to be better. Dad, where do you stand out?
I don't stand out, I don't think.
Everywhere.
Okay, that's why we started with you. Mom, where's dad stand out?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
He doesn't
Yep.
stand out at rodeos
Yeah,
or like a
okay, hold
style
on
show
here.
or
Dude, listen. You
dude.
stand out at rodeos because have you seen your face? You're a little weathered. Second off, you walk like a cowboy. Everybody else, everybody else, like, is just there to be a cowboy for 24 hours to get the buckle bunnies, go home, and walk away. You are actually a real one. So I wouldn't necessarily you're in the like third. There's a 1/3. There's 33% that are real cowboys. They're either former rodeo guys or they work on ranches or they are in ranching or farming of some sort.
I would agree
Like
with that.
that's their lifestyle. The other 2/3, they're there to wear the giddy up to be there for the night, and that's it. Other than that, you can't talk anymore because you've just completely
Discredited
discredited
yourself.
yourself. Yeah. Mom, where does dad stand out? And tell me one of the best stories where dad has stood out in the past.
Jeez. Should we talk Disneyland?
Yeah, that's where I was headed. Let's go.
Washington, D.C.
We go to Disneyland when you're in what, sixth grade?
I was sixth grade, yeah. Which
And
all any parents out there, I will recommend. I was in sixth grade. Braden was in fourth grade. I was 12. Braden would have been 10. Perfect age. If you're gonna go to Disneyland, Disney World with your kids, if you're gonna go with Disneyland with your kids, go at that age or higher. If you're going to Disney World with your kids, go 21 or older because there's the Food and Wine Festival, which is the best to go to, and I want to go there again at some point. But anyway, please continue.
yeah. So Disneyland, California, November. We went over right before Thanksgiving.
Good timing, by the way.
And so yes, perfect timing. And I said, hey, want to wear some tennis shoes so your feet don't hurt when we're walking all day? No, he did try those one day and it hurt his back so bad that he went back to his boots.
Yep.
So here's dad in his cowboy outfit, hat, cowboy shirt, Wranglers, and boots.
Okay, hold on.
And
Time out. Why do you call it the cowboy outfit? There's a story behind that.
there's a story behind that. So one Halloween, I believe it
We're
was,
dating.
we were dating. And the group of people that I worked with was similar age group. And they knew Brandon.
Early to mid 20s, yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
And
okay.
so anyway, we were going out to just gather this Halloween evening, and it was a pre-gathering. And
we call that pre-gaming now. 30 years later is pre-gaming.
Okay. One of my coworkers is a little bit on the dingy side. I don't know how else to say it, but she just
a ditz.
There you go. So the girls that were there are all gathered around a table with a beverage and talking, and dad walks in and she says, oh, there's Brandon, and he's got his cowboy outfit on.
For Halloween.
Someone who has known your dad, Brady Ostermiller's aunt, since he was little, looks at her and says, are you kidding me? That's what he wears every day.
All right. Anyway, now you're in Disneyland. Go forward 20, 25 years.
Yeah. We get a couple different reactions typically as dad plunges through the crowd. He puts his mean
I wouldn't say
face
plunge.
on.
I would say definitely penetrates. Like
Yes.
nobody, yeah.
He doesn't touch them. He looks at them in such a manner
like
with
that.
the big cowboy hat on, and he's like 6'3", 6'4" with his boots on.
6'3"
he's got his
with
heels
boots, yeah.
on. So he's rather intimidating for most folks, I think.
They're Californians.
And it was...
That's true. Anybody's intimidating to a California.
Here's the problem. Dad doesn't like crowds a whole lot. And
neither do I.
He was just trying to move through the crowd. And so he just kind of went like that. And people moved out of the way for us. And my dad, your grandpa, loved that. He just followed right along. And so that's one reaction. The other reaction is if we have any Asian tourists that are in the area.
It's 100. It's you're so racist. No, it's an accuracy. Anybody from two places, China or Japan.
Yeah.
Those
And
two places
they are enamored with the American West, and
Yep.
cowboys are really, really something that intrigues them.
Yep.
And this has been proven for 35 years that I've been with Dad.
Oh, for sure.
Every
Since
time
I've been a
we
kid, for sure.
see people from
number one place,
area.
Yellowstone National Park, because I'll
Yep.
just be honest, that's where we go to a lot of times for family vacations because it's close, it's affordable, and we like nature.
We like seeing it.
The East Coast, DC.
Because those people like almost mugged Dad in the
They almost did.
there in front of the Capitol wanting pictures.
DC, there was another place on the East Coast I'm trying to think of though, and maybe it was just in that DC trip. Like I'll just say Virginia, the District of Columbia area.
Yeah.
Another was Florida.
Yeah.
And then I have heard, because I wasn't there, but Boston, when Dad headed to Boston, he had similar issues or similar, we'll say obstacles. But yeah, go ahead.
And they always want a picture with him. And
and
Dad usually thinks, especially the first few times it happened, we thought, oh, they would like a picture. So we were going to accommodate them because you know,
like, do you want us to trying to kind of use basic sign language?
They're just holding the camera up and pointing it toward you.
And no, they wanted a picture with him. And
I remember,
it's kind of cute because they're much shorter than Dad. And
and to be specific, it's funny because let's fast forward 20 years from then. So from when you were dating to, let's say, the DC trip, I was a junior heading into senior year in high school. Braden was a freshman going into sophomore.
15 and 17.
Mom and Dad made a conscious decision to take us to Washington, D.C. to kind of learn about the government. First, they knew I was going into government class, and it was just that age where it's a good opportunity before I head to college, all these different things, right? We came across this Asian couple. We were literally in front of the Capitol, the House, the Senate. It's right there in front of the mirror pond. And if you look behind us on the mall, there's the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, all those things. And this couple, small Asian couple, I think they're Japanese. They were taking pictures of Dad and us. And they did the same thing, kind of like a camera and Dad. And Dad's like, oh, sure, you want me to take? And they're like, no, like, don't take my camera, take a picture of you and her. So the husband pointed to his wife. And so Dad stood there with the wife and they took a picture. And then Mom, at this point, 2 decades of experience, walks up and goes, do you want me to take a picture of you and her with him? And that's how it transpired. And there is a picture somewhere in far east global world of Dad sitting with a small Asian couple in front of the United States Capitol.
And the two of you are rolling on the ground laughing.
Oh, it was hilarious because it's the first time I'd ever seen it. Mom knew it. She knew it at that point. She just went with it. It was hilarious.
Oh, it's pretty cute.
Was it? We were in the park.
Was it enigma? Huh?
Yeah, I'm an enigma.
In more than one way.
I can't remember. Was it you or Braden that we were in Yellowstone, and I saw something to get for Mom for Christmas, and I grabbed it. I think it was you.
We were at the Old Faithful, like gift
lodge.
shop,
or it was at Canyon Village, and we were getting this at the gift shop, and we walked up to pay for it. And
that sounds right.
And that guy, he's working with the park service, has all their employees doing different tasks wherever, and he just happened to be at that gift shop, and he looked at me and in his best English goes, "I like your cowboy style."
Yeah.
I remember that. You started laughing. And, oh, thanks. I mean, it's like, what do you say? He was just wanting to talk and where we're from and all that. It was funny.
It is interesting too, because there's been a couple times in Yellowstone National Park where I think it's a cultural thing. People from, again, like probably Japan, because they've got a little bit more wealth and more freedom. They'll come to especially Yellowstone, and they'll come in a big charter bus, and there'll be like 60 of them, like legitimately 60 of them.
Yeah, bus.
And they'll come piling out of that charter bus, and you'll see at the different, they'll go to hot spots, they'll go to Old Faithful, they'll go to Mammoth Falls, all those things. And there's been a couple of times where we'd see them like, oh boy, here comes the horde, and dad will stand there, and suddenly you'll start hearing the click, 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 and it's all everybody taking pictures of dad. And they're not taking pictures of the geyser, they're not taking pictures of the buffalo, they're not taking pictures of the hot spots, some of the most beautiful things you could see in the United States. Nope, they're taking pictures of the cowboy. So yeah, it's definitely, dad definitely stands out, that's for sure.
He does. Well, and he's got a cowboy outfit on, so I mean, it works.
Yeah.
My Halloween outfit.
Yeah, had it since what, 1963?
About that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably worn one or two of them out.
I worn a couple of them out. Yep.
So, does dad stand out in public? Yes, he does. Especially
So you know
not
how
in
he goes
Montana.
incognito? He
He
wears a
puts on
baseball
a
cap.
ball cap and tennis shoes, and that's all he's got to do. I've
Yep.
seen it
Just a
happen.
ball cap. I can't hardly stand to wear the tennis shoes.
So it's funny though, because I've told people about this. Dad used to be more well known, I would say, than he is now, because when he was a warden, he went around, he moved so much and saw people and talked to people and at least got to know them. So they'd have an interaction with him and they'd say, oh, that's Brandon Carpenter.
He's the warden.
Yeah, he's the warden. He got out of it, but people still knew him and he could go anywhere. And there was a couple times we went with him just putting a ball cap on. That was it. The only change. And people just suddenly walked right by him and he'd go, oh, I knew that guy. Oh, I met that guy. Oh, I talked to that guy. Oh, I had a whole conversation with them. Oh, yep. Didn't even recognize.
Or friends of ours. We
Yeah.
have friends that we know really well will walk right by me. They'll not know.
Yep.
They'll not notice.
Yep.
But it's The only thing I got to do is when we go somewhere like
He
that,
can't talk.
I can't talk.
Yeah, you're
If I
especially
talk-
or laugh. Your laugh carries
Yes.
really bad.
Yes.
Yeah, it's over with.
Yeah.
But people tell me they knew I was in the store 10 minutes before we saw him because they could hear me laugh up front talking to somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, does he stand out in public? He sure does. With that, we'll take that conversation and put it out to pasture.